Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I have my hot, sexy husband here today. I don't know about you. I get a lot of questions.
Hold on. You look good. Come here.
You're so
I
sweet.
love you.
You would think that was just for you guys, but he does that all the time.
I get lost in you. I'm like,
You're so sweet. But anyways, today I wanted to start a new little series on my channel called 5 Question Friday because this is something that we do in our own life pretty much every day. And I said, why not share it with people? I get a lot of questions from people that ask, how do you guys stay connected? Because he travels a lot for work. We have 2 little kids, a 1 and a 2-year-old. And just, we're 8 years into our relationship. And so I think some people get a little stuck and they feel like things can get a little stagnant. I feel like that's the opposite for us. We've had nothing but an adventure of a lifetime life thus far. But one of the huge things I have to give you the credit for that keeps us connected is questions. Like, he is the king of asking good questions. You look up good questions, but now, and since I met him, he's always had these question packs. We have probably like 10 of these, and they're all different topics. So this one is on happiness. So we're going to ask 5 questions about happiness to each other today. But yeah, I wanted to ask you, because you are the king of asking good questions. If you've ever been out with him, you know this, but you do it in a way that's so disarming. It's not like an interview. If you've ever been out with someone who's like, so what do you do? And it feels there's pressure. You don't do it that way. You're very just genuinely interested. And I wanted to ask you, have you always been sincerely interested, like since you were little, in other people and listening and what they're about, or did that come later in life? You've just encountered so many people in your life, so I'm curious,
Yes.
did you pick it up along the way, or have you always been inquisitive like that?
I feel like being a middle child in my household, I didn't have enough people asking me questions.
Yeah.
Even simple ones,
Like,
as
how
far
was
as,
your day?
how was your day? I know my mom did. But even like, how are you feeling? Why do you like this?
Yeah.
Why do you want to play football? What instrument? Just things to get to know you. So I felt sort of alone, and I realized that I was interested in people and learning them.
Yeah.
And inquisitive. And so I think I read in a Cosmo, just like How to Kiss a Girl back in the day,
man.
how to build relationships.
Wow.
And it all stems with actively listening and asking questions to get to know people. And the less you speak, the more you can hear and
really understand
people.
And
it comes off authentic.
Yeah.
And so as I grew and became an actor, and you work with so many fascinating people.
Yeah.
And the job takes you all around the world. There's so many different cultures and so many different ways of doing things, and to build, and even script development, I learned a lot about building character relationships.
Yeah.
And with that, you need all these different layers. And to build that, you need to get to know people, get to know the character. And so I actively really enjoy that, especially with family. We are always constantly changing, and I'm not the same person I was in elementary school, in middle school, high school, coming out to California, becoming an actor, becoming a dad, becoming a husband, then a dad. You're always changing. Hopefully you're always changing.
And growing and getting better.
Yeah. And with that, even asking yourself questions. I've been journaling a lot more, and just doing 5 sentences. And you really get to see. I have this one journal that every day, but it's for 5 years. So like today, you can go, you're writing and you can read what you wrote that last year.
You told
this
me
day.
about that.
And the other
I should
one.
start one of those too.
And it's really interesting because it's really, I felt debilitated. Is that? Debilitated trying to journal. I remember I tried, someone said, try and write a whole page. And I'm like, that's hard. Because I do more facts. What was my day
You're
like?
Bullets. Versus
Bullets.
I'm more of like, I could write 30 pages about just the 5 minutes that we've been talking.
And I have friends who have journals upon journals. And it just seemed like a bigger thing. So getting back to topic, I love learning, especially when you're married, especially when you have kids, getting to know them and their interests, and help, steer them into their interests. So it's really great in the morning time. So we got these ones. I used to go online and just Google great relationships with dating or with your spouse.
Google has a ton of good ones, but I feel like these are,
these,
I love these so much more.
These are a company called Table Topics. They're really great. We have road trip ones that we'll bring in the car.
I'll link a bunch of options in the description because there's a ton of different ones.
There's couple ones. So when we do couple dates, we'll have those out on the table. Game nights. Over. When we have Thanksgiving, Christmas time, we have like a family one on there. And it's always interesting because I have some more quiet, more reserved family members on my side. So it's really great when...
And even on my side.
Yeah.
The cool thing about these, I feel like, is I feel like it's disarming because
there's no pressure.
There's no pressure. It's not like you're trying to pry something out of them. You're just picking up a card and reading the question. And if they don't want to partake, totally fine. But 9 out of 10 times, I don't expect, like, my dad isn't a man of many words when it comes to, like, being put on the spot. He always answers them, and your dad too. And it's just been really, like, it's been surprising. We'll, like, look at each other.
It's like, wow, I never knew that.
Or we'll, like, clock it in our little brains, and then later on be like, that was a great question. Did you know that about your dad?
Yeah.
So we love these. So anyways, it's just something fun that we like to do. Whether if he's gone, we'll do him over FaceTime or Marco Polo via text sometimes, but we try to do it face to face. But like he said, in the mornings, he'll grab, 3 to 5 questions and we'll ask each other while we're the madness of making breakfast. So I pulled 5 questions and we're just going to answer them. And if you guys have an answer to one of them, we'd love to hear it in the comments because it's fun. But also maybe just write these questions down and go to a friend or take them on your next date and ask someone these. And I bet you'll learn something new. You ready?
I'm ready.
All right.
You guys ready?
First question. What would you love to grow?
Love to grow our family. Oh,
Oh,
another one? Surprise! No.
That would have been a great pregnancy reveal. Hey guys, guess what? I'm not.
You set me up. You asked that question.
Oh man, that made my heart beat a little faster. Some days I want more babies, and some days I'm like so tapped out with what I got. Are you serious?
I love the baby season. Newborn season is kind of hard, but maybe one day. I'm happy with our kiddos right now. We have 1-on-1, and it's easy to not be outnumbered or easier. But there's one thing that I would love to grow is a tree. I would love to ideally have a house that that we can all grow old in and have the kids plant seeds and have those grow. Yeah. And I was reading, is it The Circle Maker, this book. I might murder the tree name, but the carob tree, the Krabi tree. Carob. There's one where it's like you plant it and it's not for your generation, it's for the other generations. Yeah. And this character in this book, he had these trees that someone else had planted. So it's really cool.
It's like generational.
Generational.
Yeah.
It'd be cool to plant something and see it grow in remembrance of something that you dedicated or like for your children. Yeah. So I'd love to see that.
I love that.
There's something beautiful in nature and seeing it.
Yeah. Well, we also live in such a society where it's just for me now. Like people don't even think about tomorrow, and then we get into these hard situations, but there's something really beautiful about that. I'm not even going to reap the benefit or the fruit, lack of a better word, of this, but I don't want to. Like, it's not for me, it's for, generations to come.
Isn't there a book? There's a kid's book, like the green, I'm having this vision of a green book. The kid or the dad plants it and then it gets chopped down. And then it sprouts again.
Really?
If you guys remember that
one.
If
you remember that book, let it know.
Put it on there.
Mine is a lot less deep than yours, but the first thing that came to mind, what would I love to grow, is my muscles. Like literally my muscles. I've been kind of not out of commission, but I haven't been able to like work out or train the way I would like to over the last probably 4 years just because of pregnancies and health issues and postpartum and then pregnancies and So I feel like now, we're in our workout clothes. We're going to go work out after this. Which has been a really fun thing we've done to connect with each other too, is getting up early. We didn't today, but we're gonna work out at lunch. But anyways, I would like to, genetically, I've never had, I've had muscle tone when I was doing gymnastics as a kid or dancing, but I have never trained to try to build muscle. And I'm not talking about like trying to bulk up. It's not in my genetics. I can't get like massive, but I would love to put on some muscle and like gain some weight in that way because it's hard for me to do. So that's my thing.
Nice.
And then on the back of these ones, not all of them have it, there's like a little quote. This one, what would you love to grow? This one says spend time gardening. So really you were apparently more on point with where it was going, but hey, I can still grow my muscles. Do you want to ask this one?
When was the last time you swallowed your anger and felt better?
Oh man. I mean, well, shoot, I guess it depends. What are you angry about? Because there are times when like it's that fleshly anger that rises up, like I'm agitated or I get mad at you, and I have to pause and assess, like, is this valid or not? Like, is this my flesh, or is it something that genuinely is like needs to be a conversation, or I would bring it up to you 9 times, well, maybe 8 times out of 10, 9 times out of 10, it depends, but it's not important, or it's not worth acting out of anger. Well, the Bible says be angry and sin not.
Yeah.
So like if I'm angry and I lash out at you and my tongue slices you up and says things, or I yell or I raise my voice, like that's sinning, and I never want to do that. So I've been trying hard. But as far as suppressing anger, I did that for a really long time, and that led me to some bad things too. So I think I've been personally having to find that balance of feeling the anger, identifying, because I've always heard, isn't it anger is a secondary emotion? People who are angry, that's not a first emotion. You're either afraid, your feelings are hurt, you're scared, like whatever it is. And so for me, I think a lot of the time I would suppress anger because I'm like, it's not biblical, which is not true. Like, I'm not a good Christian if I get angry. No, God got angry. Like the creator of the universe. And I think just identifying, why am I angry? If that truly is a secondary emotion, why? Like, am I hurt? Am I scared? And then going from there. So I don't think suppressing anger is maybe, what does it say? Stuffing it down?
Last time you swallowed your anger.
So swallowed it.
Better.
So I think it just depends. Like, it's not about suppressing, I've realized.
Yeah.
But swallowing is different.
Yeah.
Suppressing is ignoring it and not dealing with it. Swallowing it is I'm identifying it, I'm weighing it, and you know what? I'm going to swallow my flesh.
Digest it, feel it. Dissect it, figure out what buttons were triggered.
Yeah, exactly. And just be like, oh, and then if it's worth it, I'll come to you and I'll be like, hey, like that made me mad.
I feel like that's maturity as well. I feel like
we're working on being mature.
We've grown in that.
Of us too,
yeah,
though.
Me too, because I think when you do that, you become better, and communication is key.
Yeah.
When you, I react, I'm very reactional when I get caught off guard, and it's really nice to kind of pat myself on the back when I don't react out of anger.
Yeah. When you respond
or confusion.
versus react.
Yeah, where I'm able to like hear, actively listen, and or if something happens, not just react with it, take a second, breathe, go outside, do whatever you need, and then come back and be like, hey, can I just share, like, that really sucked when that happened. Totally. And it, it hurt my feelings or whatever it did and brought to you. So it's nice. I've been really proud of that, because nothing good comes from reacting out of anger.
No, never.
So it's always nice.
You can't take words
and most of the
back,
time, you can't take most of the time. It's just misunderstanding.
Oh, yeah, almost always.
And or there's another layer there that you're like, hey, are you okay? Like even asking them back if someone came hot to you.
Yeah. Like what? Like, to be able to swallow your anger and
see the unhealthiness and be like, that's out of character.
Are you okay? Like, let it water off a duck's back to check in with them.
Yeah.
Because I think so often we're like, whoa, like you just slapped me, not literally slapped me, but you feel like you said caught off guard, and you want to make it all about you and what you did to me.
Yeah.
When I think you're right, maturity and love.
Especially if you're teammates, right?
Yeah.
That's what marriage is.
Yeah.
And if someone's coming in hot, and that's out of character for them, obviously something is wrong.
Yeah.
And being able to water off a duck's back, not take it as like an offense, and try and see through it.
Yeah.
So
And then the other person, it's up to you then, if someone does that, to respond then well. Like recognize, oh, you're trying to see me. You're checking in with me. Because
like we aren't enemies. I'm not trying to.
Yeah, we're not enemies.
Why would I want to fight and cause like a toxic
It is
place
never us versus each other. It's always us versus the problem.
Yeah.
If you can stop looking at each other and turn to face the problem, like side by side, or even I love like the back-to-back analogy where you're like, we got a 360 view and it's you and I, nothing can come between us. Let's stay on guard for what might try to.
In the back of this one, the quickest way to get rid of the bad feelings that come with everyday problems is not to express your anger.
Yeah. Okay.
Good to know.
Into it. All right. Are you more book smart or street smart?
I'm probably more street smart.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm intelligent, but there's a lot of like book smarts that isn't needed. And I'd rather be, especially nowadays, more street smart. I feel like a lot of good businesses are started that way. And if you're too book smart, you can get in your way a little bit more.
I would agree with that. Yeah.
What about you?
I growing up, I 100% was book smart, not street smart. If you asked me, I would have been like, I'm street smart. I didn't know anything. Like a song came on the other day from when I was a kid, and I'm listening to the lyrics, and I'm like, oh my God. Like I sang this as like an 11-year-old in the gym or whatever, you know. I had no idea. I didn't know anything. I thought I did, but I didn't. I would like to think I'm more street smart than I was back then, but I do think to present day I'm probably more book smart. I look things up. You know? I love to know facts, random useless facts. But whatever.
That's why we're a good team.
Yeah. All right. This one says neither higher education nor a high IQ increase your level of happiness significantly.
Ooh, interesting.
I will say I think you really have to be cautious with with the book smart stuff and reading, because I do think that that's where a lot of fear can come in.
Well, your pursuit of knowledge is just what is it? Ignorance is bliss.
Yeah.
Like if you feel yourself, especially in this world,
truth to that.
With so much, you know, with social media and the internet, we used to be happier when you didn't know what was going on in the country.
Well, and now what is the truth?
Yeah.
Now who even knows? So it's truly like, what are you filling yourself with? And if you think it's true, what if it's not? You know?
Yeah.
I think that's where you just have to like, the only thing we should be pursuing is the truth, which is Jesus himself and the way, the truth, and the life. And I think as long as that's our focus as far as like consumption, like the majority, if we're just reading our word and doing that, I think we'll be happiest.
Agreed.
At least I will. All right, next.
What's the most unlikely place where you've made a friend?
The one that...
Oh, wow.
What? Do you want to read
Well,
that
the back says the happiest Americans socialize 6 or 7 hours a day. We don't socialize much.
With
we got 2 kids. Yes.
Also, that's not fair. That represents extroverts, not introverts. But this is a sidebar. Can I tell you something? I was listening to a live or a podcast with Tim Ross earlier today, actually, like a couple hours ago, and he was talking about how he's an introvert. But I love the way he brought it up, because he was saying when it comes to introverts versus extroverts, and I feel this way too, as an introvert, there are people that do fill up your cup. Or that do, like they do, you like being around them, but they do drain you. But he's like, it's more a matter of whose cup gets filled up first. He goes, introverts, we get filled up. I get filled up real quick. He goes, I go into a party, I talk to the same person. I'm not going to be everyone, like, because I like to have he's like, my wife calls it DMCs, deep, meaningful conversations.
Yeah,
he's like,
those.
I don't do surface. He goes, so I'll come in, I'll talk to one guy the whole time unless someone pops up and like, hey, how's it going? He goes, and after like 58 minutes, I feel I'm full.
Yeah,
I'm full. Yeah. I'm at my capacity. I'm ready to go. He goes, extroverts will be there for 3.5 hours, 4 hours. They got to talk to everybody because it takes them longer to fill up. And I like that. I was like, that's true. We just, as an introvert, I just fill up faster. And then I got to go and, you know, decompress and all of that. But anyways, what was the question again? Or was it my question?
What's the most unlikely place where you've made a friend?
So the first thing that comes to mind.
Jail for you, right?
Jail, prison. I was in prison. No, I wasn't. I've never even been arrested, have you?
Solitary confinement. She made friends with her head. It was great.
Ah, that's weird.
Best friend.
The most unlikely place. So when I was 16, I got a speeding ticket very soon after getting my license. I was late to school. I was driving my brother, and there's this one, Officer Luna, still remember him, because he was like famous on this stretch of street going to high school. He would get like 12 people a day in the morning, and I was like, that's not fair. But I was speeding. I'm not gonna like try to defend myself. But then I went to traffic school, so it was off my record, and I did night school because obviously I didn't want to do a whole Saturday. It's your weekend. And so it was like 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. on Wednesdays, like 2 or 3 Wednesdays, I think 2. But you had to sit in the same spot both weeks. But I just went in, I was a little early, sat down, and these 2 really like, I was 16, so I was younger, but these 2 like guys sat next to me, such funny characters. They made, I actually like went home after traffic school and I'm like, that was fun. Like I would love to do this all the time because they were so funny. And we didn't exchange numbers or anything because that would have been like very inappropriate.
Yeah.
I feel like looking back, I was 16. But they were just funny and they were super nice. I didn't get any like weird vibes. And I don't know if it's like I've made a friend because we didn't like continue on a friendship. But it was like those 2 weeks I had a great time. They were so funny. And I feel like they were also mindful of being respectful of me. I feel like there was one time where they probably could have made a joke but didn't, like that was inappropriate, and so they kept it very PG. I feel like they were just respectful and kind of felt like almost protective of me, which was really sweet. So anyways, I liked traffic school. That time I might have had
Did you learn not to speed?
Yeah.
Good answer.
I always knew not to speed. It's just when you
get caught.
Did
you learn not to get caught?
No, here's the thing. No, I don't believe in speeding at all. And I'm the one, like, I got pulled over another time and I was like, I'm sorry. Here's my license. Write me a ticket. And he was surprised about it, that I was so. But anyways, what about you? Most unlikely
one that comes to mind is customs at LAX, which is never fun. But I had one of the police guys recognize me. And I think it was Arena, this fighting movie that I did with Samuel L. Jackson. And he knew so much and just thought it was so cool. He really loved films like you do. And we just struck up like a really great conversation where I was just like really into this like conversation, just talking to him. He was really nice, cool dude. And I kind of just, like, my bag actually had come out, and I was still in the conversation. Like, you were there.
You could have left, but you were enjoying yourself.
It was really cool.
Wow.
And
welcome back to the United States.
Yeah, I think he told me he DM'd me or something.
Yeah.
I think this was even during Twitter, like a while ago.
Yeah.
When
Twitter
said something.
Twitter.
I was like, hey, what's up, man? So just, funny.
That's
LAX
funny.
Customs.
Oh, cool. All right, last question. When have you been happiest in your life?
What have it's
there's a lot of variables, but I could easily say right now.
Yeah, I think more, not hypothetically, but just being married and having our 2 kids and being present with them.
I read the back of it. It's so depressing.
What does it say?
Sorry for interrupting. It says most people experience their lowest life satisfaction in their late 30s to early 40s.
Wow.
Hi, late 30s. Yeah. We're here. I disagree with that because I genuinely feel like I am the happiest I am right now than I've ever been. Yeah. Sorry, please keep going. When were you happiest before you met me?
So I said this one thing, which was really funny. Brittany asked me, like,
my anger
what decade were you the happiest?
Was the most memorable.
Most memorable. And I said, probably my 20s.
He hadn't met me.
I hadn't met him.
I was like,
it was like this softball pitch. I'm like, but I did so much in my 20s. You know, Twilight came out, traveled.
Like,
did so much, and I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry," but I was being honest. But now it's changed because I did so much traveling,
and my feelings were like kind of hurt, but not really, because when you know your person so well, I'm like, well, I
didn't do it to hurt you. I was being honest.
Well, and we had it was like a year in, like we were just begun, like we had just met and we had just started a new decade, and he's so literal that he's like, let's span a whole, like, this decade isn't over yet. And I was like, whatever.
So just being with the kiddos. Yeah. When you have the kids and you are just so present with them.
It's so fun.
You have your wife, you have your dog, you have the son.
Yeah.
It's really quite nice.
Yeah.
All right, guys, that was number 5.
That's it. Thanks for tuning in. If you want to answer any of the questions, there you go. Or write them down and ask a loved one or even a random stranger. You can make an unlikely friend in an unlikely place, or whatever that question was. But anyways, thanks for being here.
And get your table topics.
Yes, I'll link these
we get
below.
them on
Amazon, probably. But you can get them all kinds of places, I think. So anyways, that's it. Thanks for being here. We're going to go work out because I am going to try to grow my muscles. All right, thanks, guys.
We'll see you next time.